Hi everyone. Do you ever feel like your family is toxic? Do you want to know how to get out of it? Um, well, I just wanted to speak to you about my own personal experience with toxic behaviour within my own family. This has always been a bit of a contentious area for me. Um, so as you know, or maybe you don't know, I am I come from an immigrant family. My whole family immigrated to Australia back in the early 1980s, and my parents now they're in their 70s and I think their late 70s, maybe even early 80s. Isn't that horrible that I don't know the age? But that's not really something we talk about very often, age. um, but my family, especially my parents and my older siblings, they're still a bit old school. So they're very blunt in the way that they might express their feelings and in the things that they say. And I am actually the second youngest child. I come from a family with 8 children and I am the second youngest. I have a younger brother who's only a year younger than me, so he's like 40. And oh god, I'm not gonna cry. I didn't think I would cry. um, and as much as I love my family and my brothers and sisters and my parents, I feel like a lot of the times the things that they say is just like they just blurt out what they want to say without consideration about other people's feelings. And I've had to, on several occasions, step in and say to them, like, I don't want that kind of behaviour towards me or towards my children. And I have 2 young girls, and my parents, bless their cotton socks, um, especially my mum. I mean, she loves us unconditionally, but she just doesn't know how to maybe be tactful, or she doesn't realize the things she says are actually quite hurtful. And even when I've told her, I've expressed those feelings towards her, she's, kind of being dismissive about it, or think that, yeah, it's just a joke, or I'm only saying it out of love. And I understand, like, that's her way of thinking, but there have been times where, and still times where I feel really hurt by the things she says. Coming from an Asian family, my my culture is very much, they like the high bridge nose, they like the 2 eyelid eyes, they like white skin, they like petite bodies, they like really, like, a, a female that can cook really well. And I feel like I don't embody any of those things. And then, things come up during family gatherings and they say things to me like, I mean, when I was growing up, they used to say things like, oh, when you get older, we can fix your nose, or, when you get older, we can do double eyelids for you, surgery and stuff like that, or, just use more cream and your skin will be lighter. Why are you so dark? I've actually had an auntie, like we call her auntie, but she's not really like an auntie, but when you're Vietnamese, everyone is an auntie or an uncle. I've had an auntie who I hadn't seen for like years and years and years, like years and years. And I remember seeing her after like a really long period of time. And she says to me, Tao, that's my Vietnamese name. She says, Tao, why are you still so dark? Like, literally, that was the first thing she said to me when she saw me. And I honestly didn't know how to react. I just smiled and tried to be polite because she's my auntie. But that's so hurtful because it's the color of my skin. Like, what do you want me to do about it? It's the color of my skin. And seriously, luckily for me that I grew up in Australia, in a Western country where tanned skin or darker skin is considered beautiful, because I reckon if I was still living in Vietnam, I would feel even more insecure about myself and even worse about my appearance than what I already do now. So I have two young girls, and my husband is English, white English, and so they're a mixed race. And of course, as a mother, I think they're beautiful in their different ways. They're unique, they're different from each other. Um, but one of my daughters, her nose is quite flat up here, and I've heard my family members say the exact same thing they used to say to me when I was growing up. When she gets older, she can have plastic surgery and fix that nose. I mean, they say it in Vietnamese, and even though she's too young to understand what they're saying, and she doesn't know much Vietnamese, so she doesn't understand exactly what they're saying, there will come a point in her life where she will understand. And I do not want that kind of negative appearance bashing of my daughter, or of any child really. And when I went to visit them last year, I've had to actually set boundaries with my family. I messaged my brothers and sisters that I'm closer to in age with, and I said to them, this is how I feel, and this is what it was like growing up for me, and I don't want that kind of negative talk around my children. So please, can you not comment on their appearance like that, in a negative way like that? I'm happy for you to say, oh, that's a nice dress, or you look really lovely today, or whatever, like, as a general sense, but not things like, I can fix, you can fix your nose when you get older. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I've asked them to respect my boundaries, and also, tell their partners the same things. And I hope that that would, trickle on into my older brothers and sisters, and also my parents. Again, I've had to set boundaries with my parents, and you know, they they say it's a joke, they say it's out of love, but I don't feel like that's something that should be said at all. So have you had similar experiences to myself, and how did you deal with it? That was how I dealt with it, and to be honest, that's still a continuing and developing issue for me and between myself and my family. So I would love to know how you are going with these boundaries, and if you have any tips that you could share with me, I would love to know, and so hopefully I can apply that in my own life as well. As much as I love my family, and as much as I miss them, because we are living in the UK at the moment and they are all in Australia, I'm actually, a part of me is actually quite happy, glad, maybe not happy, but glad that there is quite a distance between us, just so that my daughters can grow up, without that sense of not being good enough. So yeah, in a way I'm glad that where there is distance between myself and my family. What I'm not happy about is they're missing out on being with their extended family, especially their cousins, because when you've got so many cousins, it's just so much fun. But yeah, I feel like in the long run it would be better for them not to have that kind of toxic energy. Yeah, so please let me know how you've dealt with your own family, if you've had experiences in this kind of situation, and what you've done about it. And I would love to know. That's what I wanted to share with you today, something I wanted to get off my back kind of thing. I hope you're having a good day. I wish you well, and see you soon. Bye.